वासुदेव। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Canto 2, Chapter 7, Text 19. तुभ्यं च नारद भृशं भगवान् विवृद भावेन साधु परितोष्टवाच योगम ज्ञानं च भागवत मातं सत्वद्वीपं यदा वसुदेव शरणा विदुरञ्जसेव।
Translation. O Narad, you're taught about the science of God and his transcendental loving service by the personality of Godhead in his incarnation of Hamsavattara. He was very much pleased with you due to your intense proportion of devotional service. He also explained unto you lucidly the full science of devotional service, which is especially understandable by persons who are souls surrendered unto Lord Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead.
Text 20. Chakram च दीक्ष वहितं दशसु स्वेतेजो मनम तत्रेषु मनुवंश द्रोबिभ्रति दुष्टेषु राजसुदमं वेदात् स्वकीर्तिं सत्ये त्रिपृष्ठौष्टिं प्रथ्यं चरित्रे.
As the incarnation of Manu, the Lord became the descendant of the Manu dynasty and ruled over the miscreant kindly order, subduing them by his powerful will weapon. Undeterred in all circumstances, his rule was characterized by his glorious fame, which spread over the three lokas and about them to the planetary system of Satyalok, the topmost in the universe.
Text 21. धन्वंतरिश्च भगवान् स्वयमेव कीर्ति न माननर्पणां पूर्वजां रुजाशु हन्ति यज्ञे च भागं मृत्यायुर्ववृन्द आयुष ये वेद मनुषास्त्वतीर्यलोके.
The Lord, in his incarnation of Dhanvantri, very quickly cures the diseases of the ever-deceased living entities simply by his fame personified, and only because of him do the demigods achieve long lives. Thus, the personality of Godhead becomes ever glorified. He also extracted the share for the sacrifices, and it is he who only who inaugurated the medical science of the knowledge of the medicine in the universe.
Text 22. Shatram Shiaye Vidinopabhratam Mahatma Brahmardrugunji Gitpatham Narkartilepsu Udhante Savavanit Kantakamu Vigra Stri Saptakritva Urudhar Parshvedhain.
When the ruling of administrators, who are known as the Kshatriyas, turned astray from the path of the absolute truth, being desirous to suffer in hell, the Lord in his incarnation as the sage Parshurama uprooted those unwanted kings who appeared as the thorns of the earth. Thus he thrice, 7 times uprooted the Kshatriyas with his keenly sharpened chopper.
Text 23. Asamt prasad smukhu sumukhya kalyakalesh ikshvakvukvansh avaitirya guru nirdeshe tishtan vanam saditano javivesh yasmin vrudhe dashkandhar arti machhat.
Due to his causeless mercy upon all living entities within the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with his plenary extensions, appeared in the family of Maharaja Ishwaku as the lord of his eternal potency, Sita. Under the order of his father Maharaja Dasharath, he entered the forest and lived there for considerable years with his wife and younger brother. Ravan, who was very materially powerful, with 10 heads on his shoulders, committed a great offense against him and was thus ultimately vanquished.
Text 24. Yasma adado dharina bhayang vepo margam spadhirya puram harvadvidaksho dure suhrinmathitero shasushon drishtya tat paimanam karogan nakra chakra.
The person, sorry, the personality of Godhead, Ramachandra, being aggrieved for his distant, intimate friend Sita, glanced over the city of the enemy Ravana with red-hot eyes like those of Hara, who wanted to burn the kingdom of heaven. The great ocean, trembling in fear, gave him his way because its family members, the aquatics like the sharks, snakes, and crocodiles, were being burnt by the heat of the angry, red-hot eyes of the Lord.
X25. वक्षस्थलस्पर्शनुग्र महेन्द्रवाह दन्तेर्विडम्बित ककुब्जषु उढासं सद्यो सुभिः स विनेष्यति दार्हुर्त विसर्फुर्जितेर्धनुषुच्रतो सिद्धि सैन्ये.
Can you put the script up, please? Hare Krishna. When Ravan was engaged in the battle of the trunk of the elephant which carried the king of heaven, Indra broke in pieces, having collided with the chest of Ravan, and the scattered broken parts illuminated all directions. Ravana therefore felt proud of his powers and began to loiter in the midst of the fighting soldiers, thinking himself the conqueror of all directions, but his laughter overtaken by joy, along with his very air of life, suddenly ceased with the tingling sound of the bow of Ramchandra, the personality of Godhead.
Text 26. Bhume suretar varuth virmirdataya कलेश वेयाय कल्यास्ति कृष्ण केश जाता करिष्यति जनानुपल्क्ष्य मार्ग कर्माणि चातं महि मोपनि बन्धनानि.
When the world is overburdened by the fighting strength of kings who have no faith in God, the Lord, just to diminish the distress of the world, descends with his plenary portion. The Lord comes in his original form with beautiful black hair, and just to expand his transcendental glories, he acts extraordinarily. No one can properly estimate how great he is.
Text 27. तोकेञ्जिवर्णं यदुलोकिकाया स्त्रेमासिक्यकस्य च पदाशकोट्प्रवृत् यदा रिङ्गतान्तर्गतेन द्विस्पर्शो वा उन्मूलं तिवित्रर्थार्जुनयोन्भाव्याम्.
There is no doubt about the Lord Krishna's being the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, how was it possible for him to kill a giant demon like Putana when he was just on the lap of his mother, nor overturn to cart with his leg when he was only 3 months old, or to uproot a pair of Arjuna trees so high that they touched the sky when he was only crawling? All these activities are impossible for anyone other than the Lord himself.
Text 28. Yadve vraje vraj pashun vishtoye pitan palam stavijev yadnugraha drishtvrishya tachudeti vishverya vilola jiha मुचाटयिष्यस्य दुर्गं विहरन् हयन्दिन्याम्.
Then also, when the cowherd boys and their animals drank the poisoned water of the river Yamuna, and after the Lord, in his childhood, revived them by his merciful glance, just to purify the water of river Yamuna, he jumped into it as if playing and chastised the venomous Kaliha snake, which was lurking there, its tongue emitting waves of poison. Who can perform such Herculean task but the Supreme Lord?
Text 29. Tatkarma divyamivyanishi davagnina शुचिवेने प्रिदेहमाने उनेष्यति व्रजमतो वसित नत्कालम नेत्रे पिधापे सबलोन दिग्मय वीर्य.
On the very night of the day of the chastisement of the Kaliya snake, when the inhabitants of Brajbhumi were sleeping carefreely, there was a forest fire ablaze due to dry leaves, and it appeared that all the inhabitants were sure to meet their death. But the Lord, along with Balarama, saved them simply by closing his eyes. Such are the superhuman activities of the Lord.
Text 30. गृह्णीत यद्यदुपबन्धममुष्यमात शुल्बं सुत्स्य न तु तत्तद्मुष्यमाति यजर्भ्रम यजर्म्बतोऽस्य वदने भुवनानि गोपी संवीक्ष्य शङ्कित मनः प्रतिबोधितासीत्.
When the cowherd woman Krishna, foster mother Yashoda, was trying to tie the hands of her son with ropes, she found the rope to be always insufficient in length, and when she finally gave up, Lord Krishna by and by opened his mouth, wherein the mother found all the universes situated. Saying this, she was doubtful in her mind, but she was convinced in a different manner of the mystic nature of her son.
Text 31. Nandam cha mokshati bhayad varunasya pashat gopan bileshu paihatan me sunnana cha ahanya pritam nishyashayan mati shramen lokam vikuntha mupneshyati gokulam sam.
Lord Krishna saved his foster father, Nanda Maharaja, from the fear of the demigod Varuna and released the cowherd boys from the caves of the mountain, for they were placed there by the son of Maya. Also to the inhabitants of Vrindavana, who were busy working during daytime and sleeping soundly at night because of their hard labor in the day, Lord Krishna awarded promotion to the highest planet in the spiritual sky. All these acts are transcendental and certainly prove without any doubt his godhood.
Text 32. गोपेर्मखे प्रतिहते व्रज विप्लवाय देवे बिभर्षति पुष्ून् कृप्य रिरक्षु धर्तोच्चशीलेन धृमी सप्त दिनानि सप्त वर्षो महीध्रमन् गेककरे सलीलम्.
When the cowherd men of Vrindavan, under instruction of Krishna, stopped offering sacrifice to the heavenly king Indra, the whole tract of land known as Vraja was threatened with being washed away by constant heavy rains for 7 days. Lord Krishna, out of his causeless mercy upon the inhabitants of Vraja, held up the hill known as Govardhana with one hand only. Although he was only 7 years old, he did this to protect the animals from the onslaught of water.
Text 33. क्रीडन् वने निशाकरश्मिर्गौर्यां रासोन्मुखकल्पदायक्तमूर्छितेन उदीपित्स्मररुजां व्रजभृद्वधूनां hratuरशीयति शिरोधन्दानुगस्य.
When the Lord was engaged in his pastimes of the Ras dance in the forest of Vrindavana, enlivening the sexual desires of the wives of the inhabitants of Vrindavana by sweet and melodious songs, a demon of the name Sankachuda, a rich follower of the treasurer of heaven, Kuvera, kidnapped the damsels, and the Lord severed his head from his trunk.
X34-35 ये च प्लम्ब खर्दूर के केशिदृष्ट मले भंक्स्यवना कपि पौंड काद्या अन्य च शालव कुजबल दंतवक सप्तोक्षंभीर विधुर्थ रुक्मणी मुख्या ये वा मृधे स्मृति शालीनाथ चापा काम्बोजमस्तस्य कुरु संजय के कयध्या यास्यन्तदर्शनमलं बलपार्थ भीम व्याजाह्यवेन हरिणा निल्यं तदीयम्.
All the demonic personalities like Pralamba, Dhenuka, Baka, Keshi, Arista, Chanura, Mushtika, Kuvalia Pida, elephant, Kamsa, Yavana, Narkasura, and Pundraka, great marshals like Salva, Dvivida, monkey, and Balvala, Dantak Vakra, the seven bulls of Sambara, Viduratha, and Rukmi, as also great warriors like Kamboja, Matsaya Kuru, Shrunjaya, and Kaikaya would all fight vigorously, either with the Lord Hari directly. Where are you? Warriors like Kamboja, Matsya Kuru, Sijaya, Kaikai vigorously, either with the Lord Hari directly or with him under his name of Baldeva, Arjuna, Bhima, etc. And the demons thus being killed would attain either the impersonal Brahmajyoti or his personal abode in the Vaikuntha planet. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Was it Vanita Mataji? And Prabhu, I forgot the name. Thank you so much. Yeah. Haribol. Thank you for the beautiful recitations, Prabhuji and Mataji. It was very long also, and it's difficult. Actually, the Sanskrit is quite complex here, especially in Srimad Bhagavatam, but you did it very beautifully, and Mataji also. Thank you. Is it okay if I start it now? Or there's anything else to be done?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, you can start now. And you're the host as well. You can share your screen as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna. I'll share my screen. Can you see?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So before going forward, I would like to do some prayers, and then we will go through the purports and translation, and we will have a discussion. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदयन्तस्थो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतां नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. And I ask for blessings from my Guru Maharaj, from Srila Prabhupada, and all the acharyas, all the devotees assembled here, and all the demigods who are listening. If I make any mistake, please forgive me. I'm just on the path. I'm just an aspiring devotee. Thank you. Okay, so Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, which is the cosmic manifestation, Chapter 7, which tells about the scheduled incarnations, and we are on verse 20. Chakravam cha dikshva avihatam dasasu swatejo manvantareshu manuvamsha dharo bibharti दुष्टेषु राजसु दमं व्यदधात् स्वकीर्तिं सत्यत्री पृष्ठ उष्टिं प्रथस्यांश्च चरित्रः. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. As the incarnation of Manu, the Lord became the descendant of the Manu dynasty and ruled over the miscreant kingly order, subduing them by his powerful wheel weapon, underrated in all circumstances, and undeterred in all circumstances. His rule was characterized by his glorious fame, which spread all the three lokas, and above them to the plenary system of Satyaloka and the topmost in the universe. Purport. We have already discussed the incarnations of Manu in the first canto. In one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus changing one after another. In that way, there are 420 Manus in a month of Brahma and 5,040 Manus in 1 year of Brahma. Brahma lives for 100 years according to his calculation, and as such, there are 504,000 Manus in the jurisdiction of one Brahma. There are innumerable Brahmas, and all of them live only during one breathing period of Mahavishnu. So we can just imagine how the incarnations of the Supreme Lord work all over the material worlds, which comprehend only 1/4 of the total energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Manvantara incarnation chastises all the miscreant rulers of different planets with all as much power as that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who punishes the miscreants with his wheel weapon. The Manvantara incarnations disseminate the transcendental glories of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.7.21. Dhanvantarischa Bhagavan Swayam Eva Kirter Namna Nranam Puru Rujam Rujashu Hanti Yagnacha Bhagam Amratayur Avavarundha Ayushya Vedam Anushastya Avatirya Loke. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Lord, in his incarnation of Dhanvantari, very quickly cures the diseases of ever-diseased living entities simply by his fame personified, and only because of him do the demigods achieve long lives. Thus, the personality of Godhead becomes ever glorified. He also exacted a share from the sacrifices, and it is he only who inaugurated the medical science or the knowledge of medicine in the universe. Purport. As stated at the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, everything emanates from the ultimate source of the personality of Godhead. It is therefore understood in this verse that medical science or knowledge in medicine was also inaugurated by the personality of Godhead in his incarnation Dhanvantari. And thus the knowledge is recorded in the Vedas. The Vedas are the source of all knowledge, and this knowledge in medical science is also there for the perfect cure of the diseases of the living entity. The embodied living entity is diseased by the very construction of his body. The body is the symbol of diseases. The disease may differ from one variety to another, but disease must be there, just as there is birth and death for everyone. So, by the grace of the personality of Godhead, not only are diseases of the body and mind cured, but also the soul is relieved of the constant repetition of birth and death. The name of the Lord is also called Bhavaushadhi, or the source of curing the disease of material existence. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.7.22 Kshatram Kshayaya Vidhino Pabhratam Mahatma Brahmadrog Ujihita Patham Narakarti Lipsu Udhantya Asav Anikantakam Ugraviryas Trihi Sapta Kritva Urudhar Parashva Dena. Translation and purport. When the ruling administrators, who are known as the Kshatriyas, turned astray from the path of absolute truth, being desirous to suffer in hell, the Lord, in his incarnation as the sage Parshuram, uprooted those unwanted kings who appeared as the thorns on the earth. Thus, he thrice 7 times uprooted the Kshatriyas with his keenly sharpened chopper. Purport. The Kshatriyas, or the ruling administrators of any part of the universe, either on this planet or on the other planets, are factually the representatives of Almighty Personality of Godhead, and they are meant to lead the subjects towards the path of God realization. Every state and its administrators, regardless of the nature of administration, monarchy or democracy, oligarchy or dictatorship or autocracy, have the prime responsibility to lead the citizens toward God realization. This is essential for all human beings, as it is the duty of father, spiritual master, and ultimately the state to take up the responsibility of leading the citizens towards this end. The whole creation of material existence is made for this purpose, just to give a chance to the fallen souls who rebelled against the will of the Supreme Father and thus become conditioned by material nature. The force of material nature gradually leads one to a hellish condition of perpetual pains and miseries. Those going against the prescribed rules and regulations of conditioned life are called Brahmajyoti Pathas, or persons going against the path of absolute truth, and they are liable to be punished. Lord Parshuram, the incarnation of personality of Godhead, appeared in such a state of worldly affairs and killed all the miscreant kings 21 times. Many Kshatriya kings fled from India to other parts of the world at that time, and according to the authority of Mahabharata, the kings of Egypt originally migrated from India because of Parshurama's program of chastisement. The kings or administrators are similarly chastised in all circumstances whenever they become godless and plan a godless civilization. That is the order of Almighty. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutpadakamalam Shri Guruna Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahakan Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savatutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishbhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai. So, yeah, because we are doing a very special chapter. Actually, whole Bhagavatam is special. But if we see this particular chapter, we will gain so much knowledge about the incarnations, about the scheduled incarnations of Krishna, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Before I will talk about these three verses, these three incarnations, the first one mentioned in this verse 20 is Manu. And then the next in verse 21 is, I think it was Dhanvantari. And then the third one in verse 23 is Parshuram. So these are the three incarnations in 22, sorry, three incarnations that we're going to read about. Sorry. Yeah, so these, before doing these three incarnations in detail, Shobna and Hari Prabhu, can you unmute yourself, please? Before going through these three incarnations, I just wanted to ask everyone, does anyone know how many types of incarnations are there? Before we could study in detail, do you know how many types of incarnations are there in Krishna? Because before joining ISKCON, we have a misconception. We have so many misconceptions about Vishnu being supreme or other incarnations coming from Krishna. But actually, when we study in detail in Srimad Bhagavatam, we get clarity. That's why it's very important to read scriptures, especially Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam in detail, so that we get the clarity and our confusion, our delusion and confusion gets cleared. And justifications are there mentioned in the scriptures. And we are not adding anything. It's all in the translation. It's all in the verses. So any Mataji or Prabhuji would like to tell about the types of incarnations, and then we can distribute these three incarnations under those types. It's important to know about the types of incarnations that Krishna have, because we're studying about him. So we should have the details about that. Anyone would voluntarily like to? If
Is
not,
it 12 or 24, Mataji?
Okay, Mataji. Who was that, Mataji? I can't see.
Usha.
Usha Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Actually, there are, let me share the screen with you. Wait a minute. It's interesting to know about that before we could do. Yeah.
Mataji, the 6, I think. 6.
Yes, you're right. Yes, absolutely right, Mataji. So you can see there are 6 kinds of incarnations of Lord Krishna, and that they are as follows. Just a quick one, yeah, so that we can revise what we've already studied also in previous verses. So first one is Purush Avtaras, and in Purush Avtaras there are 3 incarnations that are Mahavishnu, Garbhodakashay Vishnu, and Kshirodakashay Vishnu. And we know that Mahavishnu is the cause of all the causes, all the creation, material creation. He does the material creation. Then Garbhodakashay Vishnu, who enters into all the universes, and he lies down on the water, on the ocean, which is the sweat from his body. So he's Garbhodakashay Vishnu, and from his navel, Brahmaji comes out. And then we have Kshirodakashay Vishnu, which is also seated within everyone's heart as Paramatma. He's also known as Super Soul and Paramatma. So he's Kshirodakashay Vishnu, and he lies on a milky ocean, on an ocean of milk. So these are 3 Purush Avtaras. We should know about them. And then the second one is Leela Avatar. Leela Avtaras, how many Leela Avtaras are there? Anyone knows? Leela Avtaras are also known as Kalpa Avtaras because they come in Brahma's one day, and Brahma's one day is one kalpa, which is 1,000 yugas. So 4 yugas, Satyug, Dwapar Yug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, and this Kali Yuga makes one yuga. So such 1,000 yugas makes Brahma's one day, and that is called kalpa. And all these Leela Avtaras come in Brahma's one day. So they are actually 25 Leela Avtaras. I can also show you a little bit, but these are Leela Avtaras. Then comes Guna Avtaras. So Guna Avtaras is very simple. Anyone knows what are the Guna Avtaras? Name them. Guna, it's very easy. Guna. What are the gunas of Krishna?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes,
Satogun,
Mataji.
Tamogun, and Rajogun.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much. Absolutely right. Satogun, Rajagun, and Tamogun. And who are in charge of that? Satogun is Lord Vishnu. Tamogun is Lord Brahma, and Shiva for Rajagun is Brahma, and Tamogun is Shiva. So these are the in charges of these gunas, and these are avatars of Lord Krishna only. So we know that if we know about these 6 kind of avatars and incarnations of Krishna, we will see that actually everything is Krishna. Every incarnation we see around us, every godly thing, every perfect thing we see around us is Krishna. Then these were guna avatars. Then comes Manvantara avatars that we are going to study on in our verse 20. So Manvantara is actually a time period in which Manu reigns. Manu takes charge of the universe, and Manu is actually our father in a way that he is the father of mankind. From his name, Manu, man comes. From his name, Manushya comes. So he is our father actually. And current Manu which is the current Manu? The current ruling Manu? Do you know the name? Anyone?
It is the 7th Manu, Satya, something Satya.
Yes, you're right. It's the 7th Manu, and his name is Vaivaswat Manu. Yes, and he is the son of sun. He is the son of sun god. Yeah. So how many Manvantaras, Manus are there? Actually, there are 14 Manus. Yeah, in one Kalpa, day of Brahma, 14 Manus. One day of Brahma, 14 Manus are there. So you can imagine how many Manus are there. We're going to study about that also. Then comes 5th one is Yuga Avtaras. So Yuga Avtaras are, it's very simple. I think anyone can answer that. Yuga Avtaras are all the Avtaras in Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. So these are Yuga Avtaras. And then comes Satyavesha Avtara. This is very uncommon that most of the devotees would not have heard about Satyavesha Avtaras. Satyavesha Avtaras actually are 2 kinds. One is when Krishna becomes, when there's complete absorption of godly qualities in that avatar, and the second one is called Satyavesha Avatar only, which is empowered incarnation, like Narad Muni, like Sheshanag, and we just quickly go through that. But those are empowered incarnations that Krishna empowers for a particular thing. So if you see that directly or indirectly, everything, the best thing in the world, the best avatar, the demigods, even the best of the demigods, everything is actually Krishna, who's just actually either his plenary expansion or his potency or indirect, his representative or something or the other. So Krishna is everywhere, if you see. But these are the 6 kinds of incarnations that we have, and then so many incarnations under them. Because before, if you're not part of ISKCON, or if we don't study scriptures, we will not know it, and we will put questions that who was this then, who was that then. But actually it's all under these 6 categories that all the other avatars you will see. So like Leela avatars, I was saying, there are 15 Leela avatars, which is also known as Kalpa avatars. Yeah, so these, I'll just name them quickly. So they are Kumaras, Narada, Vraha, Matsya, Yagna, Nar Narayan, Kardamani Kapila, Dattatreya, Hayasisra, Hamsa, Dhruva Priya, Rashabha, Prithu, Narsimha, Kurma, Dhanvantari, Mohini, Vamana, Bhargava, Raghavendra, Vyasa, Palambari, Balram, Krishna, Buddha, and Kalki. These are all Leela Avtaras, Kalpa Avtaras also. And Guna Avtaras you've already said. Then Manvantara Avtaras that we also have today in today's verse. Manvantaras, like I said, are 14 Manvantaras in one day of Brahma. But it's very, very huge. If we go in detail about Manvantaras and how long does one Manu live, then we will get bewildered, because it's very, very huge, very, very long life cycle of Manu also itself. And then there's so many universes. In each universe there will be one Manu in Brahma's one day. So you can imagine, in 1 month only, in Brahma's 1 month, there are 420 Manus. Brahma's 1 month. So Brahma's one day is itself so many years. So we can't imagine how many incarnations are there. And these are all Krishna's incarnation. So these are some of the names of Manvantara Avtaras. Yajna, Vibhu, Satyashena, Hari, Vaikuntha, Ajita, Vamana, Sarvabhauma, Rashabha, Visvakshena, Dharmashetu, Sudhama, Yugeshwara, Bhradbhanu, and these are all 14. Then Yuga avatars, like we already said, they are different. They are differentiated by different colors. So in Satyuga, the color was white. Treta Yuga, the color is red. The Dwapar Yuga, color is blackish. And in Kali Yuga, it is also blackish, but sometimes in a special Kali Yuga, the color is yellowish, as in case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this special Kali Yuga, the color is golden, yellowish. And Satyaveshna avatars, like I said, two categories. The first category is forms of divine absorption, Bhagavad Avesh avatars, such as Kapil Dev and Rashabhadev. And the second is divinely empowered forms. Like they are divinely empowered forms. We have examples of Sheshanag, who's called Swasevana Shakti, Anant Dev, Bhudharana Shakti, Lord Brahma, who's called Shrishti Shakti. Then Chatusahana, the Kumaras, they are called Gnana Shakti. Narad Muni, empowered to distribute devotional service, Bhakti Shakti. And Maharaj Prithu, they're empowered, Palan Shakti, because they're empowered to rule and maintain the living entities. And then Parshuram, which is Dushta Damana Shakti. So now, these all are the 6 types of different kinds of incarnation. Let me just give me a second. Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you, because we're going to read about 3 avatars today, Manu, Dhanvantari, and Parshuram. So which out of these 6 comes under, Manu is under which kind of avatara? We just went through it quickly. Manu comes under which kind of 6 avatars of Krishna? It's very easy.
Is it Manvantar?
Yes, Mataji, right, correct. So Manu avatara comes under Manvantara avatara. Then comes Dhanvantari. Dhanvantari, we just went through Leela avatars actually. So Leela avatars, Kalpa avatars, that's one of the avatara of Krishna. Dhanvantari is one of the avatara of Leela avatara. And then last one was Parshuram. We just went through it in the end. So Parshuram, it comes under which form of avatar? Parshuram?
It's Shaktivesh?
Yes, you're right, Mataji. The last one. Yes, that's right. So these are the 3 forms of, and the first one is Manu. So Manu is very complex if you study about it. And first of all, we get confused when we read about Manu. We're like, Krishna says that Brahma is the creator, then who's Manu actually? So very simple, in very simple word, Manu is the the father of mankind. So our father is actually Manu. And if we go back, like father, his father, his father, his father, then it comes to Krishna. But right now, our current father is Manu, whose name is Vaivasvat Manu, and his father is Sun. And then it goes on like that. So it's very interesting. I'll share with you, like just because we are also confused sometimes, we should know what Prabhupada said about Manu, a very simple definition about Manu. Give me a second. Let me share my screen again. So, yeah, here. So, yeah, here. Prabhupada, what is a Manu and how is a Manu the father of mankind, as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita? So let's see what Prabhupada said. Yes, Manu is the name, and because mankind is born, therefore they are called Manushya. Manushya, born of Manu. Manu is the name. Okay, that's what Prabhupada said. So here, let's see what Prabhupada has explained. Yes, so from angels, they have become English. So someone said, okay, like you said, Manushya, from Manushya, Manu name, from Manu, Manushya name came. So someone said, the woman who was asking, okay, so like Angelos, angels come from Angelos. So Prabhupada is saying, yes, from angels. They have become English. Similarly, Manu is the name of the son of Brahma, Vaivasvata Manu. Just like Narada is one of the sons. So there are so many suns. Brahma was the original living being. So he created so many suns and they created so many suns. In that way, the population of the whole universe is increased. So Manu is one of the suns. There are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma that we also discussed. These things I have discussed many times, and that the mankind, they come from Manu. So we all come from Manu. That is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Imam vivaspate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivasvan manave praha. Bhagavad Gita 4.1. Manu, this Manu. There are different Manus, 14 Manus in one day. This present Manu, under whom we are now living within this universe, he is the son of sun god, Vivasvan. So he has got his different planet, as the sun has got different planets. So Prabhupada is saying that our current Manu has also got a planet. He lives on a planet. We would think that, oh, where is our father then? Where does he live? He lives in his own planet. But he looks after mankind, all the human beings, on mankind. Everything should be well organized and all that. So his son, our present Manu's son, Vaivasvan's son, is Ikshvaku, who was given this earthly planet to rule over. And from that generation, Maharaj Ikshvaku, Lord Ramachandra, appeared. In this way, the Kshatriyas, they spread all over the world. I have several times said that most of the Europeans, they belong to the original Kshatriyas. So here it ends. He's ended his explanation about Manu's here. So we can see from this that he is saying, Prabhupada is saying that Manu is the he's the father of us. From him we all come, and his son is Ikshvaku, who was given these earthly planet to rule over. So currently, Manu's son Ikshvaku is ruling the earth planet, actually, if we see, and under his rule, Lord Ramachandra was also appeared. So this is very simple explanation. And if we go deep into the verse that we were studying, it's very easy also, but when we'll calculate the years, we'll get bewildered. So here it is said, in Brahma's one day, 14 Manus come. So if we calculate in Brahma's days calculation, in that way, there are 420 Manus in 1 month of Brahma and 5,040 Manus in 1 year of Brahma. So Brahma lives for 100 years. So we can imagine how long Brahma lives and how many Manus we will have in his life. These are the total number of Manus that we'll have in Brahma's whole life. So that is 4,000 Manus in the jurisdiction of one Brahma. So there are innumerable Brahmas, and all of them live only during one breathing period of Mahavishnu. We can imagine that innumerable Brahmas are there. This is just a count of Manus in one Brahma's life, and we have so many Brahmas, because when Mahavishnu breathes in his one breath, one Brahma dies, and one Brahma is born. So Mahavishnu breathes every time. So we can imagine how many Brahmas are coming out and going, and how many Manus are coming out and going. It's not easy for us to calculate Krishna's opulences and his potencies, and we can't calculate that. It's unimaginable, and it's very, very interesting, and it gives us so much strength actually in the practice itself, that this is our God. We can't measure him. This is the Lord. This is Supreme Lord. We can't even measure his potencies and how big he is. He doesn't end. So that's why these things are mentioned, so that we can we can get some idea about who God is. It's difficult to actually understand with these calculations, but we will at least we will have more respect that, oh, this is our father. So now let's see. After the calculation, it says that the Manvantara incarnation chastises all the miscreant rulers of different planets with much power as that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he punishes the miscreants with his wheeled weapon. And it is also said the Manvantara incarnation disseminate the transcendental glories of the Lord. Does anyone know that the current Manu, Vaivasvat Manu, had also been engaged in one of the pastimes of the Lord? Which pastime was it? The current Manu was engaged in that. It was, if you remember, Matsya Avatar of Lord Krishna. Matsya Avatar, when the whole world was flooded. Actually the Manu, Vaivasvat Manu, current Manu, he was praying on the bank of ocean, and he was devotee of Lord Vishnu, and he was praying to him, and Lord came in the form of a fish. And because he was besides the ocean, he saw that the fish was, he took the fish out of the water and took it and put it in the tank of his house. And then he could see that it's becoming bigger and bigger. So he had to move it to the pond, then from pond to river, from river to an ocean. And then it became so big. And then he asked that fish that, how you're not an ordinary fish? What are you? And then the fish revealed itself that I'm your Lord, I'm Vishnu. And then he foretold him about the annihilation and about the flood, the great flood, which is going to come and destroy all the mankind. And because Manu is the father of all the mankind, he said, what should I do? And then Lord Vishnu said that I'm going to come in the form of a fish. That's why I've come, and you just have to create a boat, and then put all the Saptarishis and mankind, your children in that, and then I will take you to the Hemavat mountain, where there is a demon whose name is Hayagriva demon, who has stolen the Vedas from Brahma. So I have to get the Vedas back from him, and then the whole thing will be settled. So that's what happened. And then Manu, the Vaivasvat Manu, created that boat, and they all went to that mountain. And Lord Vishnu, this Matsya Avatar, killed that demon and took the Vedas and gave it to the Brahmaji. And then he was so impressed with Manu that he spoke Manu Samriti. He spoke about the secrets, how to, the rules and regulations for the mankind and all that. So he spoke and he revealed those secrets to Manu. And then Manu remembered those secrets and he wrote Manu Samriti. Samriti means knowledge, remembrance. So Manu Samriti comes from that incident, that pastime of Matsya Avatar. So that was a little bit about Manu. And I'm just conscious of time, so I'll go through the next one, which is Dhanvantri, very quickly. So Dhanvantri, actually it came from, does anyone know from where Dhanvantri came? The first appearance, actually it appeared twice. It appeared twice. We only know, maybe we just know about one. But Dhanvantri came out of the churning of the ocean. In which demons and these demigods were fighting. That was actually a pastime when Indra was on his elephant and he saw what was the name of Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni used to be very angry. He used to get angry very quickly. So he saw Durvasa Muni, and Durvasa Muni saw Indra Dev on the elephant, and Durvasa Muni offered his garland, offered a garland to Indra, and Indra gave the garland to the elephant, and he left the garland of the elephant's trunk, and the elephant threw it. So Durvasa Muni, when he saw that he offered it with such a love and devotion, and it was thrown with no respect and all, he got angry, and then he cursed Indra that all the demigods will have to get bereft of their opulences and of their knowledge and whatever. You'll be bereft. And then there was a war between demons and demigods, and the demigods unfortunately they could not win that war, and the demons were ruling all over the world and guided by the Bali Maharaj. So then the demigods and Indra and all that, they went to Lord Hari, and they said, please do something, otherwise, because demons are ruling all over the world. And then the Lord said that I will arrange this churning of the ocean, and then I will help you, I'll support you, I'll come secretly, we'll do this and that. There was a plan behind it, because demons are a little bit foolish also. So that pastime happened, the churning, because demons wanted to have nectar, and demigods also wanted to have nectar, and they wanted to become immortal. So there was this pastime, and when this churning was happening, Dhanvantri came out actually from this churning of the ocean. Give me a second. Dhanvantri. Let me share my screen quickly. Oh, can you see my screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Okay, Mataji. Thank you. So yes, Dhanvantri here. So it is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam also. As then they continued churning, a very wonderful male person appeared. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is written, he was strongly built, his arms were very long, stout and strong, his eyes were reddish and his complexion was black. He was very young, he was garlanded with flowers and his entire body was fully decorated with virtuous ornaments. Lord Dhanvantri was dressed in yellow garments and was brightly polished, wore brightly polished earrings made of pearl. The tips of his hair were anointed with oil, and his chest was very broad. His body had all good features, and he was stout and strong as a lion. In his hand, he carried a jug of nectar. So this was first appearance of Dhanvantri, and the second appearance, very briefly, I'll tell you that there was a time when Lord Indra and Dhanvantri were in the same planet, and Lord Indra, he saw the misery of human beings afflicted by diseases on the earth and requested the Lord to teach Ayurveda to human race. Yeah, and then Lord, out of his causeless mercy, he appeared as son of King Dirga Matas of Kashi, and then he was born from them, and his name was Kashiraj. He was called as Kashiraj. He prepared the samhitas on Ayurveda in 8 divisions for the benefit of humanity. So this is the second appearance of 2 appearances of Dhanvantri. So Dhanvantri teachings are recorded in the Agni Puran and so many Puranas, and Srimad Bhagavatam states, Samrita Matrari Nashanaha. One who remembers the name of Dhanvantri can be released from all diseases. So that's why this day is also celebrated very nicely all over the world. So Dhanvantri's appearance was like that. And then comes Parshuram. Parshuram's appearance actually is very, very interesting also. Let me quickly share the story about Parshuram Avatar. Yeah. So Parshuram was Krishna's incarnation as Kshatriya. He appeared to rid the world of evil kings. He killed the Kshatriya community 21 times. Actually, what happened, Parshuram's, let me just stop sharing because, yeah. Yeah, so what happened that Parshuram was born in a very saintly family actually. Actually, it was, I think it was Brahmana, Kshatriya, Jamadagni. He was born to Jamadagni and his wife. His wife's name was Renuka. So he was born to them. And what happened once the king of that time, the king visited Jamadagni and his wife. Yeah, and they noticed that cow was producing all the milk for the family and decided that they wanted to take her. So they saw the cow in the family in the house, and they saw that, oh, the house is so opulent because of this cow and the milk and all. So they got tempted and the king wanted to take the cow with him. So but his attitude, the way he asked for the cow was not good. He said, "Men, take away this cow and her calf. It is the king who should enjoy the benefits of this cow, not the Brahmana sage." So he took the cow and the calf away from the Brahmana, Lord Parshuram's father. And when Parshuram came back home, he saw his father and mother very upset, and they told about the situation, what happened, that the cow is stolen from them and they were not treated properly. Then Parshuram became very angry, and he told that he will kill the king. He will kill the king, and he went away to kill the king, and he killed the king. Then what happened that when the king's son came to know about that their father has been killed, they became very angry, and they started looking for Parshuram's father, Jamadagni. They went to Parshuram's house and they were looking for, where's Parshuram's, where is Jamadagni, where is his father? He killed our father. We will kill his father. We'll kill his father. And they killed Parshuram's father also. Parshuram was not at home. When Parshuram came back, he was looking for his father. He was told that he's dead. He became agitated, and then he asked his family to look after the body, and then he went to kill the sons of that king. So he killed all the sons, and then he was not satisfied. He was still not satisfied because he knew that something is not right in the society. The Kshatriyas are taking taking what do we say, over advantage, or they're not using their powers wisely and they're misusing their powers. So he went 21 times around the world to kill all the kshatriyas who were not using their powers in right ways. So when the Kshatriya kings became disturbing, he went around the world 21 times, destroying all the wicked Kshatriyas. Thus, Parshuram fulfilled his mission of ridding the world of unrighteous rulers. So this was the pastime of Parshuram. That's why he appeared. It's very interesting that actually there's so many incarnations of the Lord, but still Krishna is the unique form, and because he's the actual form of the Lord. And with Krishna, the love and devotion that we have, the loving relationship that we exchange with Krishna cannot be exchanged with the other incarnations. They are all very, very they're amazing incarnations, and we learn so much from them. We respect them, but the love and affection that we get from Krishna, actually, his pastimes in Vraja, in Vrindavan, in Dwarka, in Mathura, that is unexceptionable. I mean, that gives us more satisfaction when we hear about Krishna, and because we can have loving exchange with him. But he has so many incarnations, so many throughout the universes, spread throughout the universe, and they're happening in some or the other universes. They're all happening. So it's amazing to hear about them, and we get purified when we hear about his stories, his pastimes, his incarnation. We glorify him. He is pleased. So it's really nice to know about these incarnations, and this chapter is really going to enlighten us with his pastimes. If anyone has any question, please feel free to ask, or anyone want to add something, please feel free to ask, and then we can close if there is no question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Just one question. That
Yes, Mataji.
Parshuram was killed by Ramchandra Maharaj, isn't it?
In Treta Yuga.
Treta Yuga.
Just let me. Yes. If I'm not wrong, that's what I've also heard. But Mataji, I haven't read it anywhere on the scriptures. So I've just heard it, so I'm not sure about it. But yeah, we can find out in the scriptures if we can find, or maybe some other devotees. I'm just aspiring devotee. Maybe some other devotee knows on the group. Then they can add. Because I've only heard, I haven't read it, Mataji. Yeah, but it's a good question. I'll also find out.
Okay,
Thank you.
Hare
Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna. Any other questions? No? Thank you. Then we can close with the, yeah. Usha Mataji, you have something?
No, sorry, Mataji, by mistake.
Okay, then we'll just close with Vaishnava prayers.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Just a
Krishna.
very quick one. Thank you for a wonderful class. You've covered a lot of depth in great detail. So well done. It was a really nice class. Just a clarification, you might want to add that most Hindu non-ISKCON devotees don't realize that the day or 2 days before Diwali, which is Dhanteras, they celebrate it as if it's Lakshmi Puja and that sort of stuff. Is actually Lord Dhanvantri's appearance day.
Yes.
I think we in ISKCON realize that, but many people outside don't actually. So they actually are celebrating a completely wrong occasion.
Exactly.
And wrong
reasons.
The reasons. So it might be worth you just clarifying that as well, because we're covering Dhanvantri, Lord Dhanvantri today. You might want to add that.
Yes.
Thank you for a wonderful class.
Thank you, Prabhu. That's right, Prabhu. Actually, Dhanvantri is very merciful. Like I said, nectar, he, like the way he appeared, and also he has so many opulences. He can bestow so many other things also. But our reasons for praying to Dhanvantri is for protection of the health, and they gave us Ayurveda and the medicine, the knowledge. And in the purport also it is written that the Lord not only gives us knowledge about how to correct our health, our physical body health, but also our spiritual health, our spiritual being. They also, if we pray to them to make us spiritually healthy, then Dhanvantari will be more happy actually. We have to be spiritually healthy also. They also look after our spiritual health, that we are progressing in bhakti. So we can ask for bhakti, that please, give us. And yes, health is also important. Like Prabhupada says, first health, then your sadhana, then service, and then reading. This is how Prabhupada has told us also. Like health is very important, so we can pray to Dhanvantari to make us healthy, so that we can do our bhakti and carry out our services nicely. Thank you, Prabhu, for mentioning that. Hare Krishna. So if there is no other questions, we will close. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमो
नमो
नमः
नमः.
अनंतकोटि
Thank you,
वैष्णव
Mataji.
जय
Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful
Very
class.
nice class. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji, for very
Thank
nice.
you everyone for
Krishna.
joining.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Thank you,
Forgive me for any offenses. Forgive me. Hare Krishna.
Lovely class, Mataji.
Hare
Thank you so much.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.